What's up? How's it going? Somebody sent me an email and they're like, looks like they're locking the channel for comments. Oh well, this is a good go. It was a good go, good run. I guess you might as well give up. like as if success is even a metric. You think this is success? This is therapy. you guys are just unwilling participants in my self-therapy. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna tell a lie, I'm hurting you, never gonna give you up, never gonna give, never gonna give, never gonna give. Was it turn around or tell a lie? Oh, there's tell a lie. I don't know. I haven't listened to that song very intently. Deserve you, never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. It seemed like that guy had to eat like a bunch of fried chicken and rolls or biscuits, like fried chicken and biscuits for like a decade to get that voice. Nothing but fried chicken and biscuits for breakfast. Very, very fatty larynx. So there's man. It's really hard to tell where people are at, you know, like in the general society. Obviously there's a lot of people that are like don't give a shit either way and are just aware that something's going on and they're freaked out. But they're, you know, and you can't blame them because it's, you know, it's not like they can have, you can't afford, like that's the entire game of the precipice, you know, like where we are as humanity is that you can't afford to have ideology. Like you can't afford to have ethic or ideology. You can only afford to put one foot in front of the next one. And if the floor isn't built for you, then it's like you're gonna fucking slip, you know? And it makes people you know, they're forced to wait for the next step and like complain when the next step isn't there, you know? Like right now they're at the place where it just kind of feels like there's supposed to be another step, but it's just kind of like fucked up. But they don't know exactly, you know, they're not sure what exactly to make of it, and they're still listening to the government and shit. I mean, it's both ways. I see people that are, the only thing that really matters, like waking up does not mean like joining some kind of ideology. Waking up means that you need to realize that the ideologies are not real and that you need to be independent so that you can't be taken advantage of. It doesn't mean like, well, turns out the Democrats were wrong and the Republicans were right. I mean, you're never going to see the opposite of that, but the Democrats being wrong and the Republicans being right, that is not correct. It's a matter of realizing that you know, it's like when you're down, when you realize like you're like, oh fuck, I'm in a hole. And you're like, fuck, this hole has really tall walls on it. And you're like, fuck, this is taller than I've ever climbed before. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to climb out. That would be correct. So your assessment of like is farther than we've ever climbed. That you don't know if you can get out. Or I just mean you as an individual. I shouldn't say we. I kind of despise the term we. It's like the root of evil. I shouldn't say we, I should say you. It is taller than you've ever climbed before. It is dangerous. And it's going to keep getting deeper if you don't start climbing out. And you can fail. And that is the correct assessment of the situation. And so when you're in that uncomfortable spot of, do I try to climb out or do I wait because maybe somebody will come scoop me up? That is where you go deeper. You're going to go deeper if you do that. You got to start climbing out. The way you do it, you don't go like, I'm going to start a Patreon account and a Kickstarter for saving the world. I'm going to give a press rally and I'm going to summon all of the good people on Facebook. That is not going to work. It's also not going to work if you're going like, I am going to produce more ammunition than any other time in history. We're going to make Nazi Germany look like fucking Fisher Price. It's not going to work. Okay? It's not going to work. What you have to do is you have to be as an individual, as a human being in your experience here. You have to let go of all that stuff and be the most that you can be as an individual without being made vulnerable by placating to the little power parties that come up and pop up out of nowhere. And because the reason why is because all these parties are bribed, like they're under control, they're under monetary control. Their lifeblood, how the party sustains and is created in the first place, is through investment. It has investment, it has staff. All those people are worried about money. They require it. It's a lifeblood. They're not learning the shit to be on their own. They're going to require the money. When the money comes from nowhere or comes from a source where they have to, think a little bit differently, they're going to think differently. Only a matter of time. You take the most ideologically driven person on paper, like in their speeches, and you put them into reality where the metal meets the meat, and they're going to be giant pussies. I'm telling you right now. What you want to have your own drive for yourself and be able to make something for yourself that you can actually put back, that you can actually count on, that you can actually, that you don't have to vote on, you don't have to ask permission for, you don't have to worry about anybody getting in between. I mean, somebody could get in between you and what you need. That is true. But somebody could get in between what you need and you. And that is true. But then they're between you and what you need. And so, you can handle that. I mean, you can handle it better than if you're giving up, your entire guard down and you're just completely fucking dependent on somebody else to, make or break your ass. You know what I mean? That's the fucking dangerous shit. You know what I'm saying? We need to make it a refinery. I think. I got some pipe parts. I picked up some industrial pipe in the scrapyard. We're going to make an oil refinery. We're going to start, I'm thinking I sell gas, you know what I'm saying? Because if I sell gas, people will need gas, especially when shit goes fucked. And if I'm making all the gas, and then I can sell it for half the price. I mean, right now it's cheap as fuck, artificially. But if I sell it at half the price, I'm not going to have any competition. My shit's going to be cleaner. It's not going to have any adulterants. I can sell it for half the price. And then when they fuck everybody and try to take away gas, I'll just be like, haha, no one will see it coming. They'll have to come get me, and then they'll be like, oh, we'll go get this guy, and they'll be like, oh wait, this guy is not Mr. Rogers. He's retarded. You can't get a bottle of him. So anyway, you got to get something for yourself, right? You don't want to play this game. You know this game. You know this game where they put on the banners and they come out and they say, "Hey, there's some new slave party that we just made up. Happens to work great this time. Give us your children. It'll work this time, I swear." And then you fuck the next generation. It's a lazy man cop out. You know it's not gonna fucking work. You know that's not what America's about, right? America's not about just fucking taking the fucking short bus everywhere. It's not what America's about, bro. America's about making the bad guys say, holy shit. You're just not going to do that if you don't have anything, if you're just dick in the wind. I'm not talking about don't have anything like if you don't have money or something, or if you didn't stash away fucking MREs. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about later when the shit is like nobody has anything. When you're not supposed to have anything. When the plan was to take away everything and deprive you of power as a nation. Let's see. What's up with Japan? I don't know. I mean, everybody's getting ready to play the game. I haven't seen anything about Japan. What are they saying about Japan? Yeah, you should be planning. If you're not planning, I mean, you should be getting seeds. I go through, I like the Seed Savers Exchange. That's like, I mean, it's kind of hoity-toity, but they have good genetics. I've had a lot of good luck with their genetics, and then I save seeds. Beans are really good because like a bean crop, there's lots of different types. You know, you got pole beans, you got runner beans. You can dry them, you know, like you dry the pod and you harvest the bean. Some of them you can eat fresh or dried. You dry them and then you can store them through winter. If you mix them with rice, it's a whole protein. So like if you grow beans and if you save them, even if the beans are gone in the store, you've got your beans and you're not going to starve to death. Because like no matter what, if everything goes terrible, and people are actually starving to death, I mean, as long as you don't lose your beans, you're not going to starve to death because you have whole protein as long as you have some beans and rice. So I mean, you can live, you can eat nothing but beans and rice for a few years, and you're gonna get fucking sick of eating them, but you're not gonna die. Beans and chili or not? What kind of chili doesn't have beans in it? What kind of chili are you eating, man? Beans and chili. Texas chili? What the fuck is that? Arf come up on here? Well, welcome to the party, boys. Welcome to the party. Is ARFCOM coming around yet? You guys starting to fucking get a whiff of the bullshit yet, or what? The LNG track? Like, which one are you talking about? Are you talking about, there's a bunch of songs in LNG. There's 6 songs in the LNG video. I hope the ARFCOM guys are here, because people need to fucking wake up. Like, it's going to be pretty rough. Like, this whole thing is going to get really rough, and I feel really sorry for people. Like, this has nothing to do with, at this point, it's like beyond the whole like, oh, they don't believe me, they need to believe. It's not like that. It's like, I'm fucking concerned about people, like, people are going to go through a lot of suffering, and they need to start getting ready now while they can. I mean, every second that you fuck around is a second loss that you're not, you're going to have to make up for it later, or not. And so it's like, I hope that I can, I mean, the difference between like shit that I say and what other people say is that, I mostly talk about getting your shit ready for yourself, and not like becoming opened up to exploitation by falling prey to one of the many fucking controlled movements that's like everywhere. It's pretty much everything that's funded. I tell you to avoid that. So there's really not much, there's really not much suspicious about that you could come up with. Like, in terms of if you're a new guy, and you're like, I don't know about this Dugan guy. He's kind of, I don't know if I trust him. He doesn't want me to like spend all my money and go into debt. You know what I mean? That's because you shouldn't, and because and you shouldn't be joining some rando fucking group. So all those guys are gonna get killed. If you didn't know that. other side. Damn it. Oh, hold up. I gotta move. Sorry about that. All right. Whoops. Whoopsies. Sorry about that. All right, hold up. Give me 1 second. I'm just getting my shit together here. Apologize for the inconvenience. We're sorry. We're sorry. Okay, how's everybody doing? How are we gaining people? You guys were just staring at the fucking floor, weren't you? There's like more people in here now. I mean, I'm glad you could be here. Let's put in a fresh dip. Let's put in a fresh thinking cap. Oh yeah. Listen to that engine purr, baby. Oh. Mountain lions. Mountain lions are awesome. I fucking love mountain lions, bro. I really love wild animals that are, like, the more dangerous they are, the more incredible. Like, I loved, the only thing that I really liked about Florida, which is also one of the things I don't like about Florida, is that there's fucking gators everywhere. At least, I mean, I guess it depends on where you go. I lived in Titusville for a while. There were fucking gators everywhere. Everywhere. I lived in the city, but I got a house that was kind of like, it's probably like the fucking biggest yard in Florida. I don't know how the hell I found it. Because there's no land, there's no land around the coast there. It's just like, they were just fucking packed in like sardines. But anyway, I found an area in a nice town of all old people with like a big yard, and there would be fucking gators like in the yard with a little bit of maybe like 2 or 3 acres of like, contiguous woods that split up on property lines into people's backyards, and they'd be like fucking gators in there crowing like bullfrogs. Yeah, fucking everywhere. Fucking everywhere. And it's really weird. Like in Missouri, we can swim anywhere. So like, you know, people will be fucking like swimming in puddles and shit, and like mud holes and all kinds of stuff. You gotta like remember, like, don't get in the water when you're in Florida. They don't do that. You want to be out of the water in a boat. I mean, I guess you can get in the water, but you better be, you know, willing to deal with the consequence. Wait, somebody keeps talking about this LMG track. Which track are you talking about? What is it? Which LMG song are you talking about? If I have it, I'll put it out. If it's, I don't even know. It's most of the music I wrote for Conocron is just for the video, so it's not even complete songs. Well, Little Machine Gun wasn't on LMG, on the LMG video. Is that what you're talking? Are you talking about Little Machine Gun? I probably actually don't have that song. I made that. Little Machine Gun was written on Linux Multimedia Studio. I don't even have that on a PC right now. So even if I had the project bone, fuck me. Hang on. Son of a bitch. Okay, never mind. I'm good. All right. Even if I had Little Machine Gun, I probably wouldn't be able to open the file to render it for a music cut because I don't have. I'm not going to be downloading LMS. Okay, I'll think about doing. Well, it's more of like a joke song. Pogroms guy, you're getting broken record here. You keep saying LMG. LMG is a video with LMGs, okay? And it's got probably like 6 songs in it. Little Machine Gun is an unrelated video to LMG. It's not called LMG. It's called Little Machine Gun. Are you abbreviating a Little Machine Gun with LMG? Is that what the issue is? No, we can't understand what's going on. What kind of workouts do you guys do? Who's working? Are you talking about me? I'm not working out right now because I am a shit sandwich. I haven't worked out. I haven't worked out for about 2 years. Before that, I probably lifted at least once every. Well, I'm not under regular programming, probably like once every 3 days at a minimum. Like if I was really busy or something, it'd be like every 3rd day I would try to get the workout. If it wasn't for that, there's some periods in my life especially when I was younger, where it was every single day, no days off. But if you wanted, exercise is good. I mean, you can do a lot more and go a lot further in stamina if you exercise, like in physical adversity. So exercise is necessary to, I mean, you know, I don't know what your idea is of what's coming up, but if you think, if you're going to hold still and just pull a trigger, that doesn't really require any exercise at all. What requires exercise is like doing stuff, especially without food. if you're like exercising and you're low on food, you're gonna burn out a lot slower than if you're like not used to physical exertion and hungry. I recommend. So if you want to gain strength, like if you're like fuck, I need to gain strength fast. Squat. You need to squat. Squatting. I would recommend squatting and overhead press, like a military press, and pull-ups. That's what I would like. If you're talking about upper body, I would do pull-ups and press, like straight, like where you just have a barbell and you're just pressing it fucking straight up. Whether it's behind the back or from the chest isn't as important. If you go in the front, you're like in the back, you're gonna be able to lift more weight. In the front, you're gonna be using more muscles like you would in a real life situation. So if you want realistic lifting, the front is better. Like back puts it on your center of gravity of your CNS. Front is like a little bit offset at the start of the press, and then you're getting centered at the top of the press. Squat, when you do squat, like I guess there's all kinds of like crazy squatting now. So there's really only one type of squat, and that's the one where you're gonna, you know, your toes are out. So you want toes out. You want knees slightly pointed out. Like when you go and you want to go to the bottom, right? So I don't know what kind of, you know, people do all kinds of have all kinds of crazy ideas of squat. There's only one squat, and that's where you're going all the way down as far as gravity will take you with your body. So whenever your body is like bouncing at the extent of the ligaments, when you're like at the bottom of your bottom position on a squat, that's your bottom position. And then you're pushing up, and when you push up on heels. You don't push up on balls of your feet or toes. You go on heels. And then if you do that, you're going to feel it. It's going to work your glutes and your hamstrings. I guess that's where you're going to feel most of it. You'll also do calves somewhat, but not very much. The bigger one, the more important part of it, is your hip, like your hips and your like micro muscles in your lower back that stabilize your core. That is the important part of squatting, and that is why you have to have full depth in order to get like to even have the opportunity to get strength. Now if you do a full depth squat where you're going all the way down, if you can't go all the way down, it's because you have hip flexibility problems. And the way that you get over that is to what I do for that, like I get like a piece of cloth or a stick or a stretchy band or whatever, and then you hold it overhead like you're holding your arms up like a Y, where your shoulder blades are far apart enough to where it kind of makes like a rigid skeletal structure where your upper body's in the shape of a Y. And with that, and then while you go down, you just want to bounce up and down over and over and over again. If it takes 100 times, it takes 100 times. The more times that you bounce, it's going to heat up your muscle tissue and your ligaments, and then it's going to, like, every time that you bounce, you're going to go down like a eighth or a quarter of an inch, and you keep going back up. So you're going like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and then it's going to heat up all of your tissue, and then you're going to, like, eventually, maybe you won't even do it on the first time, but if you do 100 of those motherfuckers one day and then go back out the next day and do 100 more, it's only going to take you a couple of days, and you're going to be in the bottom position. And then once you get in the bottom position, that's when you put on a bar. And if you do an overhead arm lock with your arms holding, like, either stretching out a band so that the band is just like stretched and it acts like a rigid object with your skeletal structure, or if you use a stick, if you're inflexible, you're gonna need a really fucking long stick, because the closer that your hands are together, the harder it's going to be for you to squat. So you pretty much need, like, you know, and you want your elbows straight, you know, don't bend your elbows, like everything's rigid. And then you know that your top is locked. Once your top is locked, you cannot, if your top is locked and if your Y skeletal structure is pointing, you know, up, perpendicular to the ground, you are not going to be able to do incorrect form for your squat. And so once you get your top locked and you get down to your bottom position, it will force the correct position. And you don't want to be doing. It's better to do no squats than to do a fucked up squat. So if you can't do that, you just need to work on that. And there's no, if people get really hung up on weight and stuff, don't fucking worry about weight. If you're doing the correct, like if you're really inflexible and you've never done it and you want to squat or something, like you're gonna suck at it at first. That's just the way it's gonna go. Everybody that's ever squatted, unless they're just like naturally strong, goes through a period where they suck at squats. You just fucking do it. You focus on having the correct position and not injuring yourself, and you just like slowly work into it. You do a stick. You fucking squat on a stick, and you go to the barbell. Then after that, you start putting in weights. If you do it regularly, you're going to find in a short amount of time you're going to be fucking lifting. You're going to be fucking squatting 225, no problem. You're going to be squatting 100 key. 100 key. It's not going to be any fucking problem. And the next thing you know, you're going to be at 405 equivalent. That's going to take you about 3 years, typically. But you'll fucking get there if you keep squatting. It builds strength more than anything else. Now, just because it builds strength doesn't mean that it's going to build stamina, but it does help. You actually when you do strength training, where you're training for actual strength and power, you're going to it translates into repetitious movement. So like your capacity for like reps of whatever that's using the same muscles are going to be you're typically going to be able to go longer than you would have if you would have done like a million squats of like really lightweight. If you're doing you really like your power zone is within like 5 to 6 standard, like 5 to 6 reps, and then you really want to be doing quite a few sets. So you want to be doing like, I mean, if you're trying to like launch like a rocket ship, you're going to want to be doing like I don't know, at least 5 sets. 5 to 7 I'd say is good. Yep, so I would recommend squats. I would recommend pull-ups and overhead press from the chest probably. I mean, back would be okay, but a press, like standing up, like you rack a bar, you get underneath it. You'll have to get stretched on your wrists. Like it takes, if you have inflexible hips, you're gonna have inflexible wrists. It's gonna be like really painful. You want to use your deltoids as the pad. So you don't rest a bar on your bone like your sternum. You're resting it on your shoulder pads, your deltoids. That's like your bar rest position, and then you're pushing up into the top holdout, and that's like if you do that, you're gonna build all the upper body strength that you need, like above the stomach, and then you're gonna build all of your hip strength. Now you're gonna have a weak spot in between the like below your like mid abdomen and your hips, and so you can have a weak spot there. That can be taken care of with deadlifts, or you can do a lot of like planks and stuff. If you do planks, like isometric resistance on your core, that can help with that strength part. And that's not about like building a six pack. That's about just like being able to walk around with huge amounts of weight, like all the, if you're gonna fucking walk around with 500 rounds on you or whatever it is you're gonna do, like you're gonna have to be strong to do that. I mean, I don't know what your plan is, but I'm just saying, like for like moving stuff and like not getting injured and stuff, you have to have a strong core. That's what it's all about. Strong feet, strong core. So I don't engage my biceps. What I do is I engage my my traps and my shoulder blades. So I pull the shoulder blades back flat so that I have, like the correct spine position by tightening the back. and then I'm pushing I'm engaging my traps, like pushing the traps up and catching the bar between. I mean, it's like pocketed on the traps, and then my arms are like they're almost like my elbows. I'm pulling back towards the center of my back. If there was a line going down your back, I'm basically like holding the bar where I want to hold it with my hands, and then pointing my elbows like they're getting pulled back to that center line on my back, getting pulled rearward. And that helps you. And then when you maintain that all the way to the bottom and back up, it helps you. It helps give you like a focus checkpoint so that you don't lose, spine spine compression. I don't mean like compression between the in the spine. I mean like the muscles compressing the spine to stabilize it. For plate carriers, yeah, I only like slick carriers. Like, so just I like, I mean, preferably I like a carrier that's just completely slick, totally fucking slick. No minimal webbing and shit. Something that can be hidden under clothing. I typically separate the fuck's sake. I separate the like ammunition and shit like that. That should be separate. The reason why you want ammo separate, like gear and stuff from plate carrier. Number one, because you might want to like not have anybody know that you have a plate on at some point. That's probably important. Number two, because you might want to pull off, your ammo. Like if you're crawling under something, like you might have to crawl under some razor wire or something. You don't know what you might have to climb up the side of a house or whatever. So like you don't want shit. Now I like these. This is that's actually a Black Hawk carrier. Isn't that Black Hawk? Yeah. This is a fucking Black Hawk carrier. These are like, I think I bought this from RSR for like $30. This is like ultra fucking cheap carrier. It's nothing special. It's just Cordura. It works great. I like it a lot. Hop heavy, level 6 sinker's cut. That's what I've got. I mean, I just get whatever I can get. Like these are just E-Sappies, I think. I don't even actually remember what's in it. I have E-Sappies. I've got some Russian, what the hell is it? It's a fucking titanium boron plates. Yeah, these are just the old green ESAP. These are just the old green ESAP. I do have some steel. Like I've got steel plates just as a auxiliary set of plates. And plates are okay. They're kind of like there's sometimes that you wouldn't fuck around with plates. Like there's a reason that I mean plates, like they use them in big army, modern military, because it's standard. It does stop rounds. Like if you get shot in the chest, it does stop rounds. So it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense if your tactic is like you're standing. Like if you're standing a lot, then it makes a lot of sense. If you're moving and firing from the prone, it makes less sense. So like like light patrolling and stuff, a lot of times they don't wear plates, even in the military. Because you've got to think. I mean, nowadays it's probably less of a concern because your plates are so light. It used to be a lot bigger of a deal. Fuck, it's getting cold in here. Probably not even here. I don't know. Can you hear me now? Okay. Yeah, it fucking is. Actually, I need to crack the door so I don't kill myself with carbon monoxide. I'm just cleaning this fucking place up. I got there's the old centrifuge. By old, I mean new. I mean, it's old, but it's new for me. Look at all this glass. Look at all this glass. Fucking, I bought all that glass for like, it's like $200. Look at all these fucking, look at this fucking specific gravity meter. They don't make them like this anymore. Tachometer. Those are all specific gravity meters. Probably don't need that many. I got a lot of vacuum stuff too, which I haven't messed around with vacuums a lot, but I'm into that. We'll play around with vacuums. This is cool. I got this. This is it's a furnace. That's like an industrial vacuum pump. There's another one. This is big. This is the Big Daddy. More glass. I need to set up my air compressor. I got some air compressors I need to set up. I'm gonna run those off of a windmill, so they're not gonna use any power. I got those, and then I got a 500-gallon air tank. I'm really big on air tools. I like air tools a lot. I got this. This is really cool. So for your cap, for your closing up your caps, what the fuck is it? So if you guys didn't know this, like, most people are into the electronic tools. Most people are into the electronic tools. I'm not. I'm a fucking pneumatic guy all the way. It's so, you get so much power out of pneumatics. So I got this. This is a crimper. Now you have to modify it because it, like, I can't order the like the dies for the different stuff. But this is, you know, you've just got a switch down here. You fucking crimp your caps. I bought that for like $20. No penis in it. Penis will stay far away. Way into pneumatics. They have so much power. Especially when you consider, I mean, you no, this place is all fucked up. I'm sending shit, you know, like there's a lot of work. Never stops. I got these. These are cool. These are like, oh, 180 micron. Yeah, the music will be good. I've just got to be, you know, it sucks because it's like I wish I could do it and get it done. It's just like I can't, you know, fucking takes so much time, man. I don't have time to do it, so it's very slow. But I will do it. I will do it at some point. It will be finished at some point. The biggest thing is I need to lay down the vocal tracks. That'll change, like, that will be the moneymaker, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll probably release the music as like an album first, and then take like the best songs of it and do music videos. But I want to do it right, you know, because it's a great opportunity to access people that you wouldn't normally access. Basically, just using propaganda. Using the mechanisms of propaganda to show truth. The Arachnid song. Maybe. Possibly. Is everybody still asleep? Is everybody still asleep, or are people waking up? going to be kind of scary, you know, because it's just the way it's got to go. I mean, things are already scary. People just don't know yet, but. Yeah, I know. The Trump thing is like, how do I describe Trump? It's like the people that are like way invested in Trump, which is a lot of people. That's a lot. Like that's a sizable number of people. Eventually, a long ways down the road, a lot of them are going to figure out what's going on, but it's going to be too late at that point. Which is unfortunate. It's just the way it's going to go. I did not hear about the new Bretton Woods, and I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff that they're going to try to do. The point that we're in is, you know, this is like they're going to go for broke, and everybody else is too. It's really going to be like all the stops are going to be pulled out on this one. It's going to be pretty brutal. And I suspect it's going to be brutal for everybody. I think that the people that are, gaming this whole thing, they don't realize that it's going to become brutal for them. Like, they know of the threat of it, and so like they're aware of that, and they're willing to, take the chance or whatever. Most of them are not aware of like how they're going to get switched up. They don't know. Like you remember how I was talking about, I talked a lot about sight, right? And I told you that analogy of like looking at someone's face upside down and it being out of place, but your mind seeing it in a new way, in the way that it really is, with all the parts of the face disjointed and presented as they are, and then your brain like recognizes that if you look at someone upside down, and it's kind of uncomfortable, their face is backwards. That's kind of what I'm talking about. What they don't know is that, and what I'm trying to explain with like these analogies, what I'm trying to say is that the concept, what we think about as beauty, like when we see beauty, what we think about, that concept is made, and it can be broken. And people don't make their own beauty. Their beauty is designed for them, and there are ways that you can be presented with the same picture, the very same picture. Nothing's different when you look at a face upside down. Nothing's different about it, but your mind breaks the bias of recognition to where you see anew, and you see the same thing, even though it's the exact same thing, and nothing has physically changed in the physical world. Your perception changes, and this is the effect that's going to take place in
mass. So what the people that are like really banking on this in a materialistic way to be on top, that are playing these games, they what they aren't counting on is that there's going to be a large portion of humanity that's going to have their sight changed, just like the way that a person suddenly sees an upside down face in a new way, and it becomes different. It doesn't look the same, even though to the person that's upside down, they can't see it, right? Like they can't see it, they don't know because they don't see your perspective or whatever, unless they see it too, right? But they can't see your sight. They don't know that your image that you're like manifesting has changed outside of the physical world. Like the physical world, it's all the same. Their eyes and nose are all in the same place. There's nothing to suggest that anything changes. It changes. Not only does it change, when somebody's like a child and they see that for the first time, it can be like kind of like upsetting, like give them nightmares and stuff, you know? But that's just a small example. That's just like an insignificant analogy of what is going to transpire. You know, like people are going to, and it's not going to be good. It's not like necessarily good. It's just what's going to happen. That's the reason I tell you those like winded stories, because I'm trying to think of a way to explain things that aren't explainable. You know, very difficult to explain. Well, it's not really like Plato's allegory. I mean, it has some similarities to Plato, and he's describing some of the same things. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that if a person, like, in order to operate in the world, you have to operate on the conditions that are constant. You know, so like, you know. But what we know about what is constant is based off of our observation, and our observation is sensory. And sensory is all not real. It's not real. It's something that we take completely for granted and misunderstand. And the reason why is because most people are atheists. And that's because, like, to be atheist means to not believe in what people call God. But that's exactly what is. And that's what's, you know, like, that is what existence is. And so, because they don't rationalize that or understand that, everything breaks apart when you realize that all matter is interchangeable, and that everything that you take for granted as a building block to make a decision off of and to make a judgment is entirely circumstantial in the sense that it cannot be what it appears, even though it's been that way forever, even though it's always been that way, and you built the mathematical models and the models of physics, and you're able to launch rocket ships and do all kinds of amazing feats, and, you know, take countries by storm and change entire peoples, you know, permanently. All these things don't matter. They don't matter in terms of the actual construction. There's still things that are outside of your control, and one of them is that matter is entirely subjective and interchangeable. I mean, that's like, you know, if you look at, like, you know, of course people they're somewhat familiar with, like, relativity theory, right? With the relationship between space and time and how they're connected. It's not just that they're connected, it's that it's interchangeable. It's not just that when you're doing chemistry, when you're doing a reaction and matter, it's that everything is the same thing. It's all the same. And what we see and perceive is through our creation. Just like when we look at sunlight, like the rainbow, when people look at rainbows and they see colors and they make color models of like X number of colors, there's not 7 colors. There are infinite numbers of colors. We just are designed to see a certain way, and it's all one color. Like, it's just one thing. It's the same thing as time and space. It's the same thing as atoms and molecules. We are just designed to see differentiation, but it can be changed, and we have no account for how it changes. because it's not a part of the model of what we understand. It can be changed just like when we look at something upside down and our mind sees it differently, and we can come up with, you know, theories of how like the brain functions to like account for that difference of how we see a face differently when we look at it upside down. But that's not really what it is. Like, we're not getting to that, down to the bottom of it. It's we can say when we contrast two colors, or three colors rather, and we take a color against another color, and then remove the second color and put a new color there, and then it changes the first color to perception. And if you went back and forth, you'd be like, this is the same color, but when you know, use a different contrast, it changes the color, and we can account for that with the explanation of how cones are constructed and things like that. It's not that. There's something more significant than that, and that is what I'm talking about, and that's what's going to take place. And they don't know that because they're counting on their numbers. They're adding up they're summing up all the digits. They're getting everything ready, and they're going to have a good go. But in the end, it's not going to work out that way. All right, I got to go. I got a dead battery coming up. You guys have a good night. I love you.